present levels of contradiction. I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is. And at that point, novelty theory can come out of the woods, because eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on? It's just too nuts. It's not enough to say it's nuts. You have to explain why it's so nuts. I look for the invention of artificial life, the cloning of human beings, possible contact with extraterrestrials, possible human immortality, and at the same time, appalling acts of brutality, genocide, race baiting, homophobia, famine, starvation, because the systems which are in place to keep the world sane are utterly inadequate to the forces that have been unleashed. The collapse of the socialist world, the rise of the internet, these are changes so immense, nobody could imagine them ever happening. And now that they have happened, nobody even bothers to mention what a big deal it is. The mushroom said to me once, it said, this is what it's like when a species prepares to depart for the stars. You don't depart for the stars under calm and orderly conditions. It's a fire in a madhouse. And that's what we have, the fire in the madhouse at the end of time. This is what it's like when a species prepares to move on to the next dimension. The entire destiny of all life on the planet is tied up in this. We are not acting for ourselves or from ourselves. We happen to be the point species on a transformation that will affect every living organism on this planet at its conclusion.
Peace to the tribe, peace to the collective. Here with another video. This is Kyrie, the Hood Mystic, talking about the new moon in Sagittarius. I know it's late when I say that from the moment that I woke up to this actual point, I've been working to get this video out, but something about time, energy, multiple different things going on at the same time, wasn't able to do this video as early as I would like, but I'm here now. And when we talk about new moons, full moons, we can feel the energy 3 days before and 3 days after. So all things considered, you can tap into a new moon energy on Tuesday up until the first of the year, which is ironic because we are having a new year and a new moon. Now, in the spiritual community, they're going to skew more to this isn't the new year. The new year happens in the spring, so forth and so on. And that's perfectly fine. But for those who are having to, fill out a form for work saying what the day is, if you just have to create a symbiotic relationship with other human beings, this is the new year. And so when we look at it cosmically, when we look at it energetically, it represents the same thing. It is the ending of a cycle, but it's also beginning of a cycle. And the point for which that this new moon takes is at the center of the galaxy, the center of the universe. So what that actually looks like is the sun and the moon in Sidereal Sagittarius. Sidereal Sagittarius is the 0 point of the astrology chart. When you are born under this particular energy, you are stronger, smarter, more capable than most human beings because of where the energy is at. So anywhere between December 25th Jesus was born on December 25th, right? It don't get no better than Jesus, right? If we talking about humans, if we just want to have a regular conversation that's not too deep. So from December 25th up until January 5th, right, where you have this particular solar energy over this 0 point of the sky, better known as the Milky Way. Sometimes people in Western astrology, they'll say that there's a new moon in Capricorn, but when you look up at the sky, it shows that the new moon is in Sagittarius. So are you going to rely on a chart or a map? Or are you just going to rely on what you see with your own two eyes? Since it is the new moon, since it is, that time where we set intentions, I do have a worksheet available. Link is in the description. All you have to do is click the article link, and then the first link on the article will be a download link. It is a free article, but the reason that I'm giving people these worksheets is so that they can set their intentions. Very important thing to do, because we live in this world where you can live the life that you want to live, but you just have to be so clear. So when I'm dealing with this particular energy, it shows up in that same form and fashion. So I'm gonna talk, but I don't want to waste time. I just want to deal with the energy. That's, if you don't want to hear me talk, you can just click the link in the description, read the article, and that will be that. Appreciate everybody's support. Like the video if you like it. Share the video with those who might be benefited by this new moon and Sagittarius energy, which is centered in movement, centered in freedom. So let's think about this. Where in your life do you not feel free? One's in the chat if you feel held back in some form or fashion. Any forms of imprisonment, any forms of being held back is the opposite energy of Sagittarius. And the limits that you have on yourself are put on yourself based upon your mind and how you think. So if you're able to supersede this through strong intention work, working with the new moon energy with your pineal gland is its most ripest. You have the most melanin during a new moon, during a dark moon. This goes into being hunter-gatherers, needing to know where the next meal was going to come from. Human beings had to be intuitive. They had to be intentional. If they weren't this way, none of us would be here having this conversation, because we are here through survival. We're not here just based upon, all willy-nilly type of energy. You have to have a certain level of cunningness to even exist in this country as a man, as a woman, because it's a lot of things in this country, talking about America, that will sink you under. And if you don't have that cunning ability to know what's right from what's wrong, you have family members that have done the wrong thing, whether it be drugs, whether it be violence, whether it be alcohol, gangs, just all types of stuff in this country that will say, I'm going to prioritize the hootenanny and not really get into what truly is motivating, what's truly inspirational. This year that we're coming into is such a powerful year because there will be a lot of hootenanny on the outside. And there's always been stuff that distract to put people in bad situations. It's always been that type of stuff. It's always been mind control and, you know, you name it. This country is down for it, especially if it is bringing down black men and women. So it's gonna be a lot of that. It's always been that. So what tends to happen in the melanated mind will reflect on slavery and certain concepts and say, "Oh, that happened back in the day." When if you got into the bare bones statistics of the scenario, it's happening more and more. We getting our ass handed to us more and more, and it gets worse and worse. So with all of that being said, it's very important for you to strengthen up your spiritual arms and your spiritual abilities, which is cool because we have two blood moons. So when we talk about blood moons, and I think blood moons are in the Bible. So yeah. Revelation chapter 6, verse 12. And I beheld when he opened the sixth seal, and there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as a soft sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. So in 2025, all you will have to do, how many 2025 blood moons? It's two of them, March 13th, and then another one, September 7th. Okay? This year is a time where great transformations is taking place. And the reason that I know this to be true is because in 2015, 14, one of those 2 years, we had 4 blood moons. And that was a major turning point in my spiritual development. And when that happened, because I was up at 5 o'clock in the morning seeing the whole thing take place. And that changed my whole consciousness. It is some of the most powerful things you ever want to witness and experience for a lunar eclipse blood moon. And we have 2 of them in 2025. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Right? We can get into Jupiter, Pluto, Neptune, and we will in my Astrology 2025 show. But right now, I just want to keep it focused in on this Sagittarius new moon. And when we talk about Sagittarius, we're talking about the Milky Way. Within Sagittarius is a constellation called Sagittarius A. Sagittarius A is a supermassive black hole at the galactic center of the Milky Way. So this is where the new moon is at. It is at the galactic center of the Milky Way. And what a black hole does is that it sucks in light. Right? And we are in a world where we are in an expanse of light. And ultimately, when you talk about a black hole and what a black hole represents on this planet is black people, no pun intended. Our energy is like a black hole. This is why we are hated. This is why we misunderstood. This is why we can dance on beat, because we are the insides and outside of the universe. We are the seen and unseen. We are the day and the night. We are people of the sun and people of the moon. We are people of the land, the water, the fire, the air. We are elementals, universals. But we get caught up into just understanding ourselves as physical beings when the deeper reality of our existence is more into the Sagittarius A. So I have done an experiment on getting readings. I've done an experiment with people on doing readings. Most people that I talk to, they have either Neptune or Uranus and Sagittarius in Sidereal. Because this is a portal for what a lot of our souls have entered into this dimension from. And I'm saying all of this to say is that we have a massive amount of power when we start incorporating and understanding our shadow. When I'm talking about our shadow, I'm talking about our soul, which our soul is nothing. It's the opposite of nothing. It's less than nothing. So less than nothing, infinite. So it's negative infinity. This is what Black people are. So when we don't tap into our meditation, to our triple black darkness within ourselves, we're tapping into the light. We're tapping into the visible. And when we look at the visible, it's like, man, I'm getting my ass kicked. But you can change your reality through deep meditation and deep spiritual work, deep shamanistic work, being able to understand who you are at a spiritual level. This is what this new moon is about. This is what Sagittarius energy is about. Because ultimately, where you're at this moment, you want to be at a different spot in the future. So this is also movement. But where do we find this movement? Where do we find this education? We find it from ourselves, but not in the way of light, not in the way of visibility, but through darkness, through spiritual means. So when you look at Sagittarius, a lot of times Sagittarius talks about higher learning. So according to astrology, Sagittarius is a zodiac sign that is known for its love of learning and higher education. This doesn't mean go to, it could mean though, it very well could be go to a community college and get educated, but not spend $500,000, go into debt to get a college degree, but to learn something that is going to help you, that is going to assist you in your life. So if you are stressed out and you're dealing with a lot of anxious energy, it's not because something bad is about to happen. It's usually because that fear, it shuts down the mode for learning. And where are you going to learn from? You're going to learn from yourself. You're going to learn from your soul. Your soul is as conscious as you are. So if you feel yourself as being a conscious being, your soul is just as conscious as you are, but it's just smarter. One's in the chat if what I said made sense. If you are conscious, you can go to the store, you can buy clothes, you can date boys, you can go, you know what I'm saying, take a trip. You can do things, you can think, you can go to school. That's cognition. That's your brain. You're conscious. Your soul is just as conscious as you are. It's just way more knowledgeable. So when we talking about the love of learning and higher education, that is learning what's perfect for you. And there is no teacher that can teach you better than you. So Sagittarius is also a centaur. In Greek mythology, Sagittarius is often depicted as a centaur, a creature that is half horse and half man. But these centaurs are metaphysical. For either human greatness or human suffering. Centaurs can symbolize the struggle between reason and animalistic instincts. So you, as a human being, think about how crazy this is. You, as a young human being, could be thinking about booty, clapping cheeks, or you could think about creating the next biggest engineering firm, the next big hedge fund rather. You can utilize reason to attract, or you can utilize animalistic instincts to just go and get something, right? And that is the centaur. Human beings are the centaurs. So essentially, when you come into a reasoned human being, you didn't learn that from someone else. You've learned that through trial and error. And ultimately, you come to a sense of mind to say, I'm no longer going to be chasing cheeks. I'm no longer going to be slumming and bumming, right? I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and make something of myself. So when you look at this Sagittarius energy, what I hope that you can take from it is that it's talking about your mind, and your mind having the capabilities to be a god, or the capabilities to be an animal, right? To just want cheeks is very animalistic, right? To want a relationship is very animalistic. To want a relationship through getting your cheeks clapped is beyond animalistic. It takes a lot outside of the cheek clapping to establish higher learning within yourself or within your life. Because if you are in a relationship that have nothing to do with Sagittarius, then you can feel the energy right now. Was in the chat, like it. If your relationship is not in alignment with your spirit, you can sense it right now. That energy is palpable. And what's making the tense energy between you and your partner right now is that you are purposed and poised for something that the relationship might not be in alignment with. So whether you're strong enough to purge the energy or move from it will be the same way that you do not move in 2025. Because it's like that energy have like drowned you. It's nothing worse than you can, because it goes from Scorpio to Ophiuchus to Sagittarius. But in classical astrology, it goes from Scorpio to Sagittarius. It goes from the 8th house to the 9th house. It goes from sex to legs to thighs, right? From sex to thighs, from sex to movement. Sex is no movement. Your legs are movement. So generally, the sex that you have can either empower you, or the sex that you can have can debilitate you. And you know for a fact of what you want to do in your life. If your partner is not in support of that, how crazy is that? Is what's called settling, energetic settling, where you find yourself in a relationship with somebody, but then that relationship foregoes your relationship with your soul. You should not have to compromise movement for relationship. See, it's 1 plus 2, 1 plus 1 equals 3, not 1 plus 1 equals -4. You shouldn't be losing. So Jupiter is the planet of expansion. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So what we're talking about is the right energy for expansion, but also getting rid of the energy that's not for you. So the understanding that we can like make this make sense will be found in the lunar mansion of Purva Asada, which could be symbolized by a winnowing basket. So what is winnowing? Winnowing is a process by which the shaft is separated from grain. I said winnowing is a process by which the shaft is separated from the grain. You don't need the shaft, you need the grain. But sometimes the shaft and the grain is connected. So therefore you have to separate the shaft from what's truly valuable, the grain. So there's going to be people in your life, there's going to be things in your life that needs to be separated for you to move forward. Now, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, these are people that want to eat at the restaurant and not at the dinner table. The dinner table is in the 4th house. The restaurant is in the 9th house because you got to travel to go to the restaurant. You don't have to travel to go to the dinner table. One's in the chat if what I'm saying is making sense, right? Because we're talking about movement. We're talking about Sagittarius. We're talking about the thighs. And we're talking about what can hold you back from moving. So once again, we have emotional states, we have mental states, and we have physical states. So the normalized depression, the normalized ADHD, ADD, you have to winnow, right? You have to separate yourself from these negative dispositions so you can get to what's truly valuable, your relationship with your soul, as a way to move forward, right? And this is what the symbol of Purva Asada is. It is a winnowing basket. It is to separate the lighter, less significant elements from the heavier, more valuable ones by utilizing wind and gravity, utilizing your mind and what's truly important to you. Gravity, wind, mental, gravity, the thing that is really holding you down. Like you can really look and feel and sense people's energy, right? It's been people that said, man, you was the reason that I was failing. You separated from them. You happy in the best space in your life. They still in the same position. So you wasn't never the reason that they was failing. They the reason that they was failing. You need to take responsibility for the facts that, man, what you can do in your life based upon who you are at a spiritual level, it should make you fucking freak the fuck out. You should get scared at how successful you're going to be at 2025. And if you're not excited about 2025, that means you are convoluted and inundated with bullshit. Convoluted. I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say convoluted. But what do convoluted mean? I just said it. Let me see what it means. Extremely complex and difficult to follow. Yes. Spirit always does that. It always gives me words that I don't know because the Spirit know I went to public school. Spirit know that public school ain't teach me, but it'll still give me the knowledge. We are convoluted with mumbo jumbo in exercises and motifs and more mumbo jumbo. You know how they be making the sandwiches and they be having the mumbo jumbo sauce, right? And so they'd be like, we start off the sandwich with the bread and we start off with some mumbo jumbo sauce, add a burger, add cheese, add lettuce, add tomatoes, add mumbo jumbo sauce, add another layer of cheese, put the bun on top. Then we top it all with more mumbo jumbo sauce. Then we wrap it and cut it in half and serve it to the customer. Never forget the bev. Never, never, never. Right? That's what it is with mumbo jumbo. A convolution of mumbo jumbo. And I'm talking about, man, the most realest shit is shutting it all down and going into you. You will be so smart when you come out of it. You would be thinking that a nigga went to Harvard. 40 million people use the Grammarly app. 40 million people. I'm one of the 40 million. They said that I'll be using in the top 90 percentiles of most words, less corrected, all types of shit. And I'm like, people go to school and write dissertations, right? With the Grammarly app. People write papers and all types of shit with the Grammarly app. I use the Grammarly app too, but I'm serious about this shit though. Like I will write as much as the top professionals in the whole world of people that's writing. I get busy with this shit. And all I'm saying is that I haven't even realized how important this spirituality is to me, way more than just reflecting on this year, utilizing this new moon energy. And I'm thinking like, damn, when you go within yourself, when I go within myself, which I do, I go deep within myself to find knowledge, to find direction. It make me look smart. I'm in the top 90% in all of these categories, and these niggas go to college. They go through all this shit that they go through. I'm posting a blog on Substack. I'm writing ebooks and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? I wrote a book this year, Blue Magic. I'm writing a book every year for my birthday. Next year, we doing an Nakshatra book. And we doing a volume 2 of how to read natal charts easily and effectively. Like, I get busy with this shit, and I'm not bragging, but what I am saying is that all of my knowledge, all of my accomplishments, all of my reviews, anything you said, man, this nigga get busy with this shit, it all came from deep within myself. Cause I remember not having nothing and being in the basement, going into deep meditation to a wormhole open up, and me going deep down that wormhole. And I'm waking up, and it's a girl, literally, her name is Miracle. Like, you want to come with me? I'm like, yeah, I want to come with you, Miracle. That's when I knew. When I went within myself and seen that wormhole, and I traveled to a different dimension within myself, and I knew I didn't have nothing, and I knew I wasn't going nowhere, you don't have to tell me but twice. So you looking for something. You trying to find something. The shit is right there looking you dead in the mirror. The shit is sitting there looking at you right in the mirror. And if you are afraid to go deep within yourself, Sagittarius A, the deep black hole, which is your soul, because you haven't sifted out all of the bullshit that's called life. Niggas be wearing their life story like it's a badge of honor, and I'm here to tell you that everything that you think about yourself is untrue, because who you are is a negative times infinity. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. That was my 2023 book. Right? I get busy with this shit. I'm not playing with this shit, but at the same time, it all came from within. So another name for the Purva Asada Nakshatra is the invincible star. And so why is this? Because this new moon represents a new year astrologically from a lunar sense. And the new year starts off with an invincible star, because anybody that can bear witness to the star knows that they're invincible because they can bear witness to the star. It's a lot of people, God bless the dead, that cannot bear witness to the star because obviously they're not invincible. But whatever you've been through, you represent something that is invincible. So what should you do with the particular energy? Another energy entity associated with this nakshatra is Apa. Now, Apa is a goddess that is dealing with the water, right? And is dealing with prime importance. So whenever you're dealing with the water, trying to understand water from a spiritual level, water is to cleanse. Water is to renew. Water is to purify. In order to be a Christian, you need water. Right? You need water before you need Jesus. So you get baptized in Christianity, right? But even in all religions, there is a water entity, a water energy, because we're not talking about the water that you drink. We're talking about the cosmic water that anybody can take part in, because anybody can be a Christian. What does this water represent? It represents the fact that you are a spiritual being. It's like a joke. Like, these niggas is so stupid, we got to give them to get baptized for them to even power up. We got to let them deal with Oshun before they can even power up. Because what is the cleansing? It's everything that you thinking about. It's everything that you feel. These is all choices that you making that don't matter. If you mad, if you frustrated, you could have very well chose a different emotion, a different feeling, and got a different result for years. That be the crazy part. In shadow work, you would be able to be like, damn. Because if you don't do shadow work and you've been losing for 20 years, you ain't made nothing of yourself in 20 years, 30 years. You've been chasing pussy. You've been chasing cock. You've been boyfriend to boyfriend, girlfriend to girlfriend. You got $200 in your bank account. You know what I'm saying? You struggling. What you going to do? If you don't do shadow work, then without shadow work, you gonna look at yourself and you gonna crumble on the inside because you a goddamn loser. Shadow work is the reality that, oh, I'm a loser, but this is what I need to do to change. So I'll give you an example. It's just the easiest example for me. For years, I didn't work out. It was years that I worked out every single day, like got my body right. And then 2011, my high school sweetheart transition. So from 2011, I just stopped working out because I was grieving. I was depressed, but I ain't know it. So I ain't work out 2011 all the way to 2022. That's 11 years of not working out. 11 years. Now, I mean, I got gym memberships here and there, but I wasn't really consistent like I am now. But for 11 years, I really wasn't working out. Now, I then have to look at myself and say, damn, bro, you haven't been working out for 11 years. Shadow work brought me into I need to work out. But the fact that I didn't work out for 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, 11 years, that shame did not motivate me to do nothing. Shame don't motivate you. Guilt don't motivate you. Negative emotions keep you in the same space. So therefore, to get to a reality where shit actually have to make sense, then you have to do the cleansing work. You have to do the purifying work of a water goddess, of a baptism, because even mentally and emotionally, you don't even need to feel that feeling because it's not going to motivate you to get money. It's not going to motivate you to get in the gym. It's just going to keep you in the same space. This is what shadow work, it literally says, I'm not going to identify with what I'm feeling. I'm going to identify with what I need to do. So in the mode of doing shadow work and really just figuring it out and, you know, trying to understand shadow work is one level, but then trying to figure out how it applies to me specifically, oh nigga, you gotta get your ass up into the gym. So I'm just in the gym now, right? First Planet Fitness, fucking around over there, and then just slowly getting stronger, slowly starting to see my body change, not even worried about just, overnight my weight loss journey or nothing like that, but just getting into the gym every single day, getting used to it, getting stronger, adding weights, like really getting the results that I want. That's all from shadow work. Because I'm telling you, I was unconscious after 2011. But once I got into the reality, like, man, that was really traumatic when my high school sweetheart transitioned. And I had a lot of guilt. I had a lot of sadness. I had a lot of depression. I had a lot of regret. I had a lot of misunderstanding. I ain't have no grief counseling. I was just existing in all of that pain. And all of that pain it wasn't motivating me. It was holding me back. So I say this to anybody who went through, you had a mom see, this is my high school sweetheart. But what if it was my mom? What if it was my dad? What if it was my brother? What if it was my sister? What if it was my wife, right? What if it was somebody that was very, very close to me that I need them and they can't show up for me? And I'm just going through life, man, I be seeing people looking crazy. And I know they hurting and they can't even deal with the hurt because they don't even understand the power of shadow work to just simply identify, man, I hit my head on the wall and it really hurt me that this has happened. Like, I need to really address my pain because niggas don't address their pain for real. Niggas just want to show up and make money and get the bitches and live a good life. And then they struggle with doing that because they don't address the pain. And the pain is the thing that's holding us down. So dealing with this particular chakra and new moon, I would combine it with shadow work and identify the pain points in your life and detox them, renew them, like clear that energy away. Cause at the end of the day, you're not fooling nobody. Hurt people hurt people. You're not fooling nobody. So once again, the new moon is associated with the 9 of Wands. This is the second decan of Sagittarius, which the new moon would be on a sidereal chart. So the 9 of Wands is an interesting tarot card because it is the only card that has a sun and a moon. So at the top you see a sun and at the bottom you see a moon, which is appropriate for this new moon, which represents a sun and a moon, right? A conjunction of a sun and a moon is when we have a new moon. So this particular time represents strength. And what strength are we talking about specifically? We're talking about spiritual strength, the ability to act, the ability to emote in alignment with who you are at a Sagittarian level. See, Sagittarius is what it's all about. That's what it's all about. This is where this galaxy emerges from. This galaxy is a part of, this galaxy as a whole is a part of a larger galaxy of stars. So to get to the origin of this galaxy, it starts in Sagittarius. So with all this being said, when we center, when we go deep within and reference into a meditative spot. So I gave y'all the worksheet and I gave you 5 steps to actually journal. So don't just sit down and start writing, right? Light a candle, cut on some music, meditate, relax, and then start journaling, because one of the questions on the worksheet is, what does my higher self want from me? You know what your mom wants from you. You know what your dad wants from you. You know what your girl wants from you. You know what your man wants from you. But what do your higher self want from you? This is spiritual strength. When you identify and pinpoint what your higher self wants for you, and you act in accordance with what your higher self wants from you. It's a Bible verse that comes to my mind when I'm referencing this. What therefore God has joined together, let no man separate. What God therefore has joined together, let no man separate. So when we are looking at this from that perspective, we can see the 9 of Wands. God has joined together not only the masculine and feminine, but the active and receptive, the night and the dark. God has brought these two energies together, the conscious and the subconscious. When you unite this, no man can separate it. So your success is not related to people hating on you and people holding you back. Your success is related to your ability to unite what is receptive, what is intuitive, what is vibratory in alignment with what you're willing to do. Because what's the point of being receptive in alignment and you ain't going to do shit? What's the point of just doing shit and you not even knowing that if this is what your soul or your higher self even want for you? So many times people talk to me about what they want and they never get it because what they want is not in reference to what God has brought together. It's just based on what you want. It's very animalistic. But you are animalistic and you are divine. But you need to check in with that divinity. And another synonym with divinity is perfect. At the spiritual level, the only word to describe negative point infinity is perfection. What is for you, no man can separate, no man can take apart. This is for you. But be sure that this is what your soul wants for you. So once again, how do you know what your soul wants from you? Why in the hell? Like, let's really think about this. Why in the hell would your soul make it difficult for itself to be found or dealt with? A simple meditation, a simple candle, a simple affirmation, in a simple journaling process, and just asking a question: what does my higher self want from me for these next 28 days? And write it down. You cannot write the wrong answer. How do you know it's the wrong answer if it's a BBL or a girl with a BBL? That's when you know it's the wrong answer. My higher self want me to get a BBL hood. It sent me a message. So once again, we talking about Sagittarius. For those new here, the reason that we calling it Sagittarius is because the sun is conjunct the moon in Sidereal Sagittarius. This is what's happening in real life. Just because a Western astrologer see it on a chart does not represent what's taking place in real life, what's happening today. The sun and the moon is conjunct in Sagittarius. Therefore, we're going to deal with it from that perspective. In medical astrology, so medical astrology is an ancient applied branch of astrology, the association of various parts of bodies, diseases, and drugs with the nature of the sun, moon, planets, and 13 astrological signs. Get it right. Hippocratic Greek medical training included a doctrine of dies decretory or critical days. Galen believed that heavenly bodies influence human life, but he had his misgivings about the predictions that made by horoscope casters. That's true. Niggas can say anything. So at one level it's true, and on another level it can be completely false because a pair of lips can say anything. But in order to study your body, get in the science of medical astrology, it is a branch of study that one can look at, right? In the overall understanding comes in the 12 signs. So the 12 signs rule different parts of the body. When we talk about Sagittarius, that rules over the hips, the thighs, and the liver, but also the sciatica nerve. The Sagittarius cell salt is silica, which strengthens the nervous system. So nervous system, sciatica nerve. I'm pretty sure that sciatica nerve is the largest nerve. Correct me if I'm wrong, Google. Yes, the sciatic nerve is considered the largest nerve in the human body. So let's go ahead and clock that T. So the nerves is very important in reference to Sagittarius, but mainly we want to focus on the hips and the thighs because these represent physical activity. These represent movement. This represents our ability to be free. But we're not just talking about going back and forth to the store. We're talking about physically free, being able to travel to a different country, having enough money to travel to another country, ashe, being emotionally free, being able to be yourself, your authentic self without your partner shutting you down, right? Spiritually, being able to be guided by your higher self and to know that this movement that you're moving in is where you're supposed to go. And the confirmation emotionally, mentally, and physically is constant. You always know you're on the right path when you're on the right path. You never feel like you're on the wrong path when you're on the wrong path. You never feel like you're on the wrong path when you're on the right path, rather. So if you feel like you're on the wrong path, then you're on the wrong path. In order to get on the right path, you must go into yourself, which is that Sagittarius A, that negative galactic black hole, negative infinity within yourself. Access it and say, what is the right path? What should I do? Show up for me in a way that you've never shown up for me before. I need a miracle. See, what people really struggle from is spiritual trauma. When they are alone in their room, sometimes they stare at the wall. No, I'm just kidding. Sometimes when you're alone or you just in your thoughts, you feel disconnected from source. When you're alone, you don't know what to do. So you sit and just watch TV. You just sit and masturbate. You just sit and watch time pass you by. That is a result of spiritual trauma. To be spiritually enlivened, to be spiritually in motion, that means that even when you're alone, you just in the movement, in the motion. Even when you rest and relaxing, you know that this is what you're supposed to be doing. So it's a lot of people in the Sagittarian energy saying, man, I've been moving all 2024. Now you burnt out. And now you feel bad that you burnt out, but understand rest is a part of life. Rest is a great part of life because now you can go into that Sagittarius double black, triple black hole, negative infinity and say, Spirit, what do you want me to do? Because I've been going back and forth to the goddamn hookah bar and my lungs is about as black as Flavor Flav. All these girlfriends that I got, I feel wasteful and aimless. Yeah, I got a good job. Yeah, I look nice, but my life is not headed nowhere. I have no direction. I have no correction. I have no connection to spirit. This is spiritual trauma where your life just feels wasteful and aimless. And then you looking for direction. So you want to get a reading. Sometimes when I give people readings, people will look at me or hear me say what I'm saying, and they think that I'm trying to compliment them. Like I'm trying to get some ass or something. Like, no, if I'm reading a chart, I'm reading a perfect spirit and a perfect soul. That is nothing about your chart that have any shame or any negative to it. It is the perfect cellular compository DNA structure that is who you are today. All you can do is mess it up by just being wasteful and being aimless. You have a purpose. This is Jupiter. This is Sagittarius. Where can you find this purpose at? I can't tell you what your purpose is. Because if I told you what your purpose is, you'd think I'd be lying. If I'm looking at your 10th house and I'm looking at the planets in your 10th house, oppose your 10th house, and then I'm saying, oh, you got this in the 3rd house, I'm going to speak highly on what you need to be doing. You're going to be thinking that you need to get cracked on a Sunday, on the balcony. Do my chart say anything about getting railed on the balcony, Hood? It don't say nothing about getting railed on the balcony? What part of it? No. So we talking about movement, we talking about freedom, and we're talking about knowing what's best for us and getting out of our animalistic lower self, tapping into our higher self, which will be exemplified in Capricorn, perfected in Aquarius, and realized in Pisces. So by the time we enter into Pisces, we'll be entering into an authentic new year in reference to a holistic version of ourselves that have been cultivated and alchemized through purification, detox, and getting rid of the things that we no longer need. Another way of identifying this process is called a winnowing process, where you shake shit up and utilize wind and gravity to get to the grain. And the shaft just goes into the air because we don't need it. So what do you not need? Why are you incorporating things that you don't need into your life? That doesn't even make sense. Identify the things that you don't need, shadow work. Identify the things that you don't like, shadow work. Identify the things that you did that you're not proud of, shadow work. You know how much a person going to do things that they don't feel proud of, that they feel guilty of, not identify, and that be the thing that run their life? That be the thing that makes all their decisions for them? You ashamed that you got a baby daddy that don't take care of their kids, so now you dealing with a nigga that's about to be another baby daddy that don't take care of his kids? And then if you don't get behind it, you gonna be on the lookout for baby daddy number 3. You have all of these relationships with these women and they keep using you, they keep cheating on you, they keep treating you bad, and you don't even get to the point of, damn, that really hurt me when she cheated on me. Damn, that really broke me when she just up and left on me and took all my money. That really broke me. Cause the world say you just gotta be strong, you just gotta move through it. Yeah. You're gonna keep creating those same situations. So whatever you want out of your life is going to be completely up to you. But you need to understand it's the shit that people not paying attention to. And it's the shit that you paying attention to every single day within your mind. Start to address this stuff. All of the stuff that happened in the past, make this December 30th, 31st, but you got today and tomorrow to really do some clearing work, really do some inventory work. You know what they say in AA and AA? Step 4. Just to get out of the spirituality, get into some mundane, practical stuff. Step 4 in AA. What is step 4 in AA? Step 4 of Alcoholics Anonymous encourages one to make a searching and fearless moral inventory of themselves. Step 4 of AA is designed to help those struggling with addiction examine their behavior and character. Listen, baby boo. Listen, baby boy. If you don't examine your character and your behavior, nobody will. Not your mama, not your daddy, not your lover, not your boyfriend, not nobody. This is your responsibility. And the reason why there are so many addicts and people that suffer is because they refuse to acknowledge their behavior and character. So in their story, if in your story, this person a bad person, that person a bad person, this person, your mama the bad person, your caretaker was a bad person, your teacher was a bad person, your principal was a bad person, and all of these people in your narrative, all of these people is bad people, what you not doing is examining your behavior and your character in a situation. It's plenty of times, I've seen this shit happen so many times, where a person will say, in the relationship, my partner was bad. But you never hear a person say within a relationship, man, within that relationship, I could have been a better wife. I could have been a better husband. I could have been a better employee. They just fired me for no reason, hood. Can you believe that these people fired me? I was a good employee too, and these niggas just got rid of me like I wasn't nothing. I did this, I did that. What did you do to make them people fire you? I ain't did nothing, hood. I was perfect. What did you do for him to break up with you? I don't know. I was just a perfect wife, and I can't believe he cheated on me. I can't believe he left me. What did you do for your wife to be talking to you crazy? Nothing, man. She just woke up just talking crazy to me one day. I was the perfect husband. I was actually the perfect husband. I just don't get it. Yeah, I smoke crack from time to time, but I was what they call a functional crack smoker. Hood. I was functional with my crack. It wasn't holding us back. I, I would just go on binges every third weekend, not every weekend. She acting like because I go on binges and I spend my whole paycheck on crack, like I'm destroying the family. Hood, like just tell her to calm down, man. The unexamined behavior, the unexamined qualities within you is gonna hold you back all the time. So me, my mom, well, ever since I was like 9 years old, she was in the program AACANA. So I was like the type of kid that was wanting to be where the grown folks is at. So I would be the only kid in the meeting passing out coffee. I wanted to be a part of some shit, you feel me? But I would be listening. I would be just listening and absorbing. So part of the reason that I am the way that I am because I grew up in recovery. And I know that, through counseling, through changing, it works if you work it, right? But ultimately, when it comes to whether a person is going to smoke crack or not smoke crack, the only determiner of a person that's going to decide to be sober is themselves. They tell you that in sobriety. You can't be sober for your kids. You can't be sober for your man. You can't be sober for your family. Because even if you think you're going to be sober for them, you're going to end up relapsing. So when it comes to being sober and staying sober, right, that is completely built upon that person wanting to be sober for themselves. So this just brings me into new moon and Sagittarius energy. It's very important to integrate your inner masculine and your inner feminine, your focus, your action, your intuition and receptivity, because that's going to be the thing that's going to save you. I'm like, I'll always be talking about this, but it just seemed like I'd never even said it before. But you got to get up off your own ass. You got to deal with yourself. You got to understand how powerful your energy is. And if you are able to utilize your own power, if you are able to like understand that it's important to like when they talk about Adam and Eve, they're not talking about a man and a woman. They're talking about your inner masculine and your inner feminine, your atoms and your electrons, the serpent being a nucleus, unifying the masculine and the feminine, but also being your central nervous system. So all of these are key themes in referencing new moon and Sagittarius. So, like I said, there when we talk about new moons and we talk about setting intentions, people think about their intentions. And to be quite frank, that's not good enough. Take the time tonight, take the time tomorrow night to really set your intentions. What is going to happen over these next 28 days? If you don't know, and if you feel like it's random, then guess what? That's what's going to happen. But if you start stepping in front of that energy, start manipulating the streams, figuring out what you truly want, and then going into a deeper meditation of saying, it's already happening for me, waking up into the energy, like stop waiting, because then you become reactive with the energy. And you trying to utilize the energy to react to something. So we could just correlate this to nature. If I'm drinking lemon balm every day for 28 days, I'm not going to be stressed out. But if I don't drink it and somebody stress me out, a lemon balm tea is not going to help me reduce my stress. That one cup of tea I'm already in a negative space. So I'm saying all of this to say, be consistent with your spiritual energy, meaning the energy that comes within yourself. Cultivate yourself cultivate this energy within yourself, understand it at a deep level. And if not, then you're going to be relying on somebody else to solve your problems. And the only problem with that is that that problem has problems themselves. And maybe they figured it all out for themselves and they can help you, but you cannot rely on others to solve your problems, because usually the way that this video game is played, those people get taken out your life. Until you start to realize that you're the one that's supposed to solve your problems, people is not going to show up for you the way that you think. But when you become self-reliant and self-actualized, which deals with the moon, which deals with your ability to receive, right? Your ability to receive, like, if you're in alignment with that, I'm open to receive finances, right? It would be times where I've struggled with finances and I didn't even realize I was closed off to receptivity. And then I say I'm open to receive, and then boom, a shift. It's like having your cup being upside down, waiting for finances to come. And it's coming. It's always coming. But you have to shift your feminine energy. So men or women can shift their feminine energy to receive. Men or women can shift their masculine energy to act in accordance. So this is the symbolism of Sagittarius, masculine and feminine, or centaur and human, this dualistic approach, that the idea is to unify it. So when they say in the Bible, what God brings together, no man can separate, that's specifically what they're talking about. So once again, download the workbook that is on the website so you can get your own new moon intentions. You know what I'm saying? Don't rely on nobody else's intentions. Get into a deep meditative space, light a candle, let everything go, drink some water, and really deal with the 30th and 31st spiritually. I would suggest that people not go to parties, kick it, do all that goofy ass shit. This is a very internal energy, and separating your energy just for the sake of fun is not a game. We going to continue our shadow work series next week. Next week we have shadow work in astrology, understanding your sun and moon signs. This class will fill up, so if it does fill up, you can join the second overflow, which will be at 7 p.m. Want to thank everybody that supported last week. We're going to continue into this week dealing with our charts. Basically a mini reading looking into 2025. So bring your chart to that class so I can look at it, compare it to what's happening throughout the year, and just give you a little bit more game to be successful throughout this year. But we're going to just look at the sun and moon. It's ironic that we're talking about a new moon, which is a sun and moon conjunction. But yeah, I'm very excited about this class. I want to look at your chart and I want to give you some insight. If you get the Shadow Work 5-class bundle, you will get the recording of Shadow Work 2025. You will get the Shadow Workbook. If you can't afford the price in total, you can pay in installments. Just click the link on the article, check it out, check the link in my bundle. But if you just want to just do this one class, Sun and Moon, you can sign up for that one class. That's possible too. All of the links are located on my Substack. Link is in the description, or you can just scan that QR code. With all of that being said, I was just trying to, like I said, from the moment that I woke up to now, I've been trying to get this video done, trying to get this article done in the space of doing everything else in my life, which, every day feels like a busy day, but it's just very intentional. Things that I have to do. People I have to do, things that I see. But in reference to the sun and moon Sagittarius energy, I'll be happy to just sit down, collect my thoughts, and prepare moving forward. But the grind never stops, and I'm grateful for it because it gives me an opportunity to be present and also to look forward into what's in the future. So I wish for everybody a level of independence, a level of freedom, in a level of connection to your higher self, take some time to just reflect and think, what does my higher self want for me? What does my higher self want me to do over these next 28 days? And with all of that being said, man, take it seriously what your higher self says to you. I will be back later in the week with more videos. Tomorrow, the initiates, we're doing our year-end show, our big shebang boing. So stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bells, be notified every time I go live. Thanks for all the support. And yeah, man, happy new moon to y'all. Sorry for the delay. I will be better moving forward, but you know how it is when you got a lot of shit going on. But with all that being said, I'm not going I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep coming with the energy, keep coming with the fire. So shout out to my Sagittariuses out there. This is your time, this is your season. It's time to show out, you know what I'm saying? Time to unify, time to move, time to progress, time to teach, right? So all the people with knowledge, hidden knowledge, advanced knowledge, stop holding on to that shit. You know what I'm saying? Put that shit out. You know what I'm saying? Put those books out, put those videos out. You know, it's the time to release. So check out the 2025 article, the numerology article, the astrology article. Get prepared for 2025 because I promise you, this year is gonna be a wonderful wild ride. But any questions, DM me at the Mystic. Gmail, hoodmystic@gmail.com. Yeah, man, but this energy, man, get pumped about it. Take care of yourself. Get you an outfit, you know, cook you some black eyed peas. Like, don't be too woke that you don't really deal with the energy, right? Don't just be up in your studio apartment feeling bad, you know. Be celebratory within yourself. Be happy that you connected to source because that right there is the biggest party, the biggest thing that's ever happening. Being invincible, being present, being aware. All of these things are just amazing. And then my final point before I get out of here, when you go within yourself, when you tap into your divinity, what you'll realize is that you way smarter than what you think you are. So understand that you are a genius just because you are alive. Go deep within yourself, do the meditation work, do the journaling work, do the dream journaler work. There'll be keys and codes. Bring those keys and codes to life and watch how the universe rewards you. So with all that being said, I will see y'all all on the flip side. Peace and happy